Today, I'd like to show Daredevil's best crosshair settings, ability tips, and combos to get you the best start to play Daredevil. First, start with the crosshair. Daredevil has a lot of abilities, but most of them are melee based, right? You're going to be up close and personal. So you don't really need a crosshair, to be honest. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need anything. You could play without a crosshair. However, I have gone for this crosshair for a couple reasons. Firstly, white, because it contrasts best with the different colors. Now, look. The default settings do actually look like this, right? White contrasts with red well enough, but I actually like to turn on yellow, and I'll explain in a little minute when I talk about Daredevil's best settings, but white contrasts nice against yellow as well. And the reason why we've gone for this crosshair design is sometimes you'll go to grapple an enemy and they may move away, okay? And when they move away, that doesn't mean you have to miss your grapple. As long as you move your crosshair back to the target before the grapple fully extends, you can make sure that you hit them. So this large surface area basically showcases the overall grapple hitbox. So let's say there's a target here in the air. I'm going to pretend that they dodge out the way, and then we can last second adjust our aim, and this crosshair just makes it very clear exactly where we need to aim on target. So I'm going to pretend that I missed the crosshair, right? And then we can micro adjust like that on target before the grapple is fully extended. Same can be done with targets on the ground, right? Let's say I miss a target that's strafing along the ground, or they use a movement ability. I can quickly micro adjust my aim to basically account for any errors that I've made. As long as the grapple doesn't hit anything first and it doesn't reach its max distance, I can always just readjust, right? Which is a nice little feature. So, oh, there's a bit of lag there. So yeah, that's why we've gone for this crosshair. I'll show the settings now on screen for this one. As we go through, circle on crosshairs. We basically got the dot and circle completely gone. It's just the crosshair for this one, right? And the important part is we've made it a little bit easier to see visibility-wise, but the crosshair length and crosshair radius, I can turn that to 0 actually, are the most important things. So crosshair radius and crosshair length and white color. And we've also gone for a little bit of blur. That just helps it to be like, in my opinion, it's just easier on the eye. So you don't have this like outline so clearly on the screen. That's why I put blur on my crosshairs. Right, so that's the crosshair. Very straightforward. Basically, if you miss your grapple, you can just, like whereabouts the grapple hitbox is going to be, which is nice. Now let's talk about some settings for Daredevil. There is a setting that is quite interesting. If we go to keyboard, change hero to Daredevil, and scroll down, scanline effect follows accessibility settings. Now I've turned this on, and I'll explain why. I feel like the visibility, but let me show you the default setting first, right? The visibility is not great when you're looking through a wall and everything around you is purple and then the enemy outline is red. To me, it just blends a bit too much, you know? And maybe it's because I'm an old man and I can't see very clearly. I don't know. But what I like to do is put yellow on that and then go to settings and then turn that on. And now the enemy outline will be yellow. And to me, that's just so much better contrast against a lot of these like purpley, pinky hues, which is the outline of Daredevil's passive limit. I like that a lot more. Just bear in mind that when you go and play another character now, it will be yellow, right? So something to consider. But I just found that really nice. And it's just like, it makes it clearer where the enemies are very quickly in the corner of your eye. You're not going to be wondering like if that's an enemy you see in your peripheral vision or just the outline of like terrain, you know? So look, very, very clear to see. Like this is a great example here. The yellow just contrasts so much better against the hue here. Right, let's talk about some ability combos next with Daredevil. One thing to note about Daredevil's attacks is he has a primary attack and he also has a melee. They are very different. Let me show you the primary first. It has a 4-meter radius. And it hits 4 attacks like this. Then you have the melee, which is a 3-meter radius. So you do need to be 1 meter closer. Actually, I guess it's a 2-meter radius then. It's under 3 meters. If I step back a little bit, it should work. But it's within 3 meters. And let me show you the difference now. So this is the melee. And this is the primary. Now, the melee can be interweaved between a lot of the abilities. For example, if I dash towards a target, grapple towards them, obviously that is going to activate my Righteous Cross ability, which will do extra damage. However, what I can do is dash towards them and then melee them. Not primary, but melee them. And then hit and follow up with the Righteous Cross. Now that can be done multiple times. So one of the best combos, and I'll slow this down. Grapple, melee, wait for the double hit, right? It's a double hit. Then you do Righteous Cross. And then you do this ability. And then you click Devil's Chain. And then you melee again. And then you do Righteous Cross again. So what that ends up looking like is this. Let me show you. It's quite a nice sort of one-shot combo on lower health targets, supports. Pretty good. And you can do that with quite a lot of speed once you get a hang of it, right? Now, if the enemy moves out of your radius or you miss one of these double hits, right? Then, like it does too, if you accidentally miss one of them, they're going to be on a small amount of health. Like if they're like a lunar snow or something, right? Let me show you that now. So if we go here and do it on lunar snow, we have to hit every part of this combo or they will not be eliminated. So double hit here, then we go the Righteous Cross, and then we do Devil's Chain, melee double hit again, and then, Righteous Cross again. So it needs to be like that. Otherwise, if you miss one of these hits, they're not going to be eliminated. Now, for higher health targets, it's going to be a little bit different, right? So let's choose a higher health target here. You're basically going to want to lead with the same starting combo. So it would still be the same. You'll go in and then you would do that. But they're still going to have a lot of health. So at this point, let me just make sure this is off. You would want to basically start meleeing to build your bar, right? It would look like this. You'll need to build up that fire bar. So just basic attacks will do that. And then as soon as you get it up, you can click it again. And it's just basically a cycle over and over of hitting that chain ability here, Devil's Chain, and then following up immediately with Righteous Cross, 2 hits, chain, Righteous Cross, 2 hits, chain, Righteous Cross, so on and so forth. Now, you could also add a little bit more into it. If you press this button, the F ability, and then you could dash towards them, and then grapple, and then start the combo, right? I'm sure there'll be more combos to find as well, but Daredevil was definitely going to be more suited for taking down lower health targets, and he may struggle a little bit more against tanks, honestly. Another thing to note is that when you're using the deflection ability, the objection, which will block basically and deflect all ultimates in the game and all abilities, it does damage as well. Not much, but it's something to consider. If you feel like the enemy is going to use their abilities and they're on cooldown, then you could use that to deal damage and block their incoming attacks as well. That's kind of like a basic look at Daredevil so far. Let me know what you think of his abilities and whether or not you're going to be playing a bunch. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the comments.